Hi, my name is Michelle Stokotelny, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to start communicating with your own spirit guides, as well as how to recognize signs from your guides. This is probably the one question I am asked the most out of every other possible question. How do I connect with my spirit guides? In my previous video, kind of introducing you to the idea of spirit guides as well as their roles in your life, I did discuss this a little bit, but we'll go a little further today. Your spirit guides, again, have been with you since before you were born, and they have been helping you all this time. You've been in constant communication with them, albeit subconsciously. So what you're trying to do now is to work to bring that communication to the conscious level where you are aware of it and are able to work with them in a new and very fun way. I love working with my guides. I've been doing it for so long, and I can't imagine what life would be like without this connection with them, and I'm very grateful for that because we've been able to help connect so many people with their own. So one of the ways that everyone hears me say is to talk out loud to your guides. The reason I say to do this is because it removes the doubt that if you're constantly communicating with them in your mind, you're always going to think, well, that's just me. You know, every response that you get, every piece of guidance that you get, you're going to doubt yourself immensely, as everyone does, and it makes sense that you do. I mean, sometimes it's a very big step for someone to take to start recognizing that they are in fact communicating with their guides. And even if you never feel that you do, I promise you that you do. Everybody does. Everybody always has, and everybody always will. So even if you doubt yourself all of the time, you are communicating with them. Even if you might not recognize it for a while or accept it. I think it's the trust that we have, the inability to trust that it's not just our imaginations. So talking out loud with them, talking up to them about your day, asking for help with regards to a certain problem, all of those things are ways you can start communicating with them and start to get used to how they communicate with you. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's because of movies or television shows or something else, a lot of people seem to think that once they want to communicate with their spirit guides, they're going to receive these huge, big, bold signs, and it's going to be so very obvious, and it just really isn't. Even as a developed medium for well over a decade or two now, the communication is very subtle. You get used to it. Then the more you practice, the more it doesn't feel as subtle, but it always remains quite subtle, actually. Even the signs. For instance, I've been receiving many signs this week, and a lot of them had to do with just being able to, trust my guides enough to look someplace at the right time and see what they were providing for me. Even after doing this for so many years, it can still be like, oh, really? But, how you know it's a sign is how you feel on the inside, that connection, that peace that you feel, that love that you feel, that is connecting with your guides. So for instance, what you can do for this week, which we've done in the past in some of our Facebook groups, is to ask your guides to show you a number. So you pick a number, from 1 to 100, and say, I would like you to show me the number. For me, it's been number 48 this last few weeks. And so, I asked them to show me the number 48. And a random number that you normally wouldn't put. I mean, if you picked 1, you're going to see that a lot. So I would pick a random number that doesn't really, that's something that you don't know that you're always going to see. Like, don't pick your address. Don't pick your workplace address or anything like that, or your part of your phone number. Don't pick anything like that. Pick something that might mean something to you, but not that it will be something that you're going to see just on your day to day. And then you might find you see it on the clock just at the right time. You weren't thinking of looking at that clock until that very moment, and there's that number. You might find, as you're driving, to instantly look at another car and you see their license plate, and that number's there. And you weren't looking at any other license plates. It was just that one, and you just felt compelled to look, and it was there. Those are signs. I know it seems kind of subtle, but they really are, because that connection you feel with your guides when you receive such a sign is the important thing. So you can pick a number. Also, you can pick any number of things. You can pick an animal, something that you don't always see. For me, I chose a white wolf. So I would randomly log onto Facebook and or just look up something online, and there's a picture of a white dog that looks like a wolf, or a wolf that has a lot of white in it. It's not always going to be perfect. You're not going to ask for a porcupine and all of a sudden there's going to be a porcupine in your front yard. You have to be a little forgiving too. They have to work with what they have as well as you have to work with what you have. So if you don't leave the house a lot, or if you don't go to a lot of places where there's going to be that kind of animal, don't pick a common one just because of that. Pick an animal that you resonate with. If you want to pick an elephant but don't live anywhere near where elephants are, that's okay. There's so many ways for them to help you see one or help you to receive that sign. Even sometimes it doesn't have to be the visual. Sometimes you might be talking to another person and all of a sudden they say the word elephant and you have no idea why they brought that up. And it's stuff like that, that connection, that instant, it's just too coincidental. And then that's why we do these kind of things, these kind of exercises, because after so many seeming coincidences, you start to be like, okay, yeah, okay, I see it. I see that I am communicating with my guides and I'm very grateful for it. And that they're trying to show me that they hear me. And that's very important because that builds that trust for you to know that your guides are hearing you and they are working with you and they are trying their best to help you know that they're working with you, and that that connection is very much there and real. So you can pick a number, you can pick an animal, you can pick a song. You might pick a random song that you haven't heard in a while and it's not likely to be on the radio, but somebody or somewhere, again online, the internet's very helpful for this these days. Someone on your friends list might post a quote that are lyrics from that song. When you start to recognize things like that, and they happen one after the other for a week or two, that really helps you to start feeling like, yes, I am connecting with my guides, and I'm very grateful for that. And then you can move it on to the next step if you want to, which would be to work on your mediumship abilities, if that's something that you feel drawn to do. Even if you don't think that you could be a medium in this life, and not everyone's going to be. Not everyone's going to be going to be everything that they want to be in one specific life. But there's definitely no harm in taking the courses or learning as much as you can about a topic and learning how far you can take yourself within that realm of experience, because it will always help you for your next life if you resonate with the idea of reincarnation, which I very much do. So I hope that this is helpful to get you started on talking to your guides a little bit more, starting to recognize some of the signs, and learning to trust yourself above all things, because that's really what it is about. Your guides will always be there for you, and they love you, and they'll send all of the healing and guidance and support that they can. But it starts within you. The more that you trust yourself, the more that you start to learn to trust your guides, and the more that you'll be able to enjoy this experience. Thank you very much for spending this time with me. God bless.